My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years plus daughters post. I'm not the oop. This was posted by divorced throwaway ACC and her daughter ether dekuna on r true off my chest. Trigger warning. False accusation. Gaslighting. Manipulation. Parental alienation. Less than. Original. The 9th of January 23. My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years. Throwaway since I don't want to be linked back to my main account. I'm 46F. And my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I loved both of them dearly. And we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights. And my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again to seeing her outside our house. 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights. But she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it. And now I'm hearing my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex. Something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an asshole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet, and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyways. It feels so fast I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit. I did not expect this post to start blowing up. I appreciate the love and support. However, I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that apart from the actual divorcing process. split what we needed to split, and let our daughter choose who she wants to be with. She wanted to live with her dad, and I agreed. She was strongly adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitations. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move out of the house. I was living off couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason why she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well. I signed off my rights. I looked like a mess in court, too. There was also a lot more going on during the time. Update: the 12th of January 23. Update: my ex divorced me and wants to be together again after 4 years. Hi. Within the past 2 days, a lot of stuff came out, and I'm beat. First of all, thank you for the support and advice. There were so many, but I decided to follow the ones I thought fit best for me and my daughter. In the last post, I mentioned in the comments about an update. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. As we were talking, she mentioned new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over me. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never had cheated in the first place. My ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him around her finger throughout his childhood. So I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know that the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years. No one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me, and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word. But it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact on her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during important events, graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could have another chance as well. He said he'd do anything to make it up and that he loves me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate to me about the cheating allegations and only assumed that I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help move on. That I wanted to be left alone and currently not interested in another relationships. Then, I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Anything else I will discard. That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries and whatnot. She gave small updates about what was going on with her side. They went no contact with my ex's mother. So that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized about her behavior at the restaurant, and that it won't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tensed. I forgave her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today. She said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me and that I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I really don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and on my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something drastic as in suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime she wants. But I did say that I may not always reply since I want to remain low contact as of now. Thank you so much for the support and love. I can't express how grateful I am. I'm sorry I haven't replied to any of the comments. There was so much, and it was very overwhelming. This may be my last ever post on this account unless something happens in the near future. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Daughter's post. The 12th of January 23. My mom posted about her divorce with dad because of her mom. I'm their daughter. Edit. For the love of God. This is not my account. It doesn't even belong to me. I'm not using my actual one for obvious reasons. My mom recently made 2 posts about our family under the title, "My ex divorced me and now he wants to be together again after 4 years." I'm their 21-year-old daughter. And I'm going to explain my side of things. Yes, I have been given permission from my mom to post this. There were a lot of things she neglected to say on her part. This is how I interpreted what happened on my side since y'all are quick to blame. 5 years ago when I was 16. My dad called me. He said he was at his mom's house and that I needed to pack my things so he could pick me up. He told me that my mom had cheated on him and now he was going to divorce her. So I did exactly as I was told. I was really mad at mom for doing such a thing. I thought they were inseparable. I was surprised. I thought they loved each other, and when mom was accused of cheating, I resented her. I yelled at her. I called her really hurtful things that I regret saying. I left to stay with dad. The entire time I refused to talk to mom during the divorce. I really hated her. I truly did. During the time, I was with dad and my grandma. I met her a couple times and my mom openly hated on her. I didn't know why. She seemed sweet and supportive, helping my dad get through. She bought me presents and let me live under her roof. She was a stereotypical loving grandma. Mom ended up moving out so we can have the place back. In court, I favored my dad's side and it was approved. I refused to contact my mom. It was like she didn't even try to fight to be with me. I was still really angry at her. Dad was crying on some days. He was really stressed and saddened. She did too, but I thought it was the guilt of being caught and now having nowhere to go and being divorced as a consequence. There was a few times where I wanted to call her, shout at her, hate her. I didn't. For the next 4 years. It was me, dad, and grandma who occasionally visited. She showered me with gifts, always expressing how she finally got to meet her grandbaby. She spoiled me. Dad was still sad for like 3-ish years before meeting another woman and they started dating. That's when everything turned upside down. Him and grandma would start getting into fights about the new girlfriend. She would threaten to harm himself and call him a pathetic excuse as a son. She knocked stuff over and constantly broke things when she didn't get what she wanted. She even threatened to hurt me sometimes and steal things away from me. Dad hardly ever brought his girlfriend over because of her. Grandma kept visiting almost daily. She was super obsessed over dad and the new girl. Now repeat that for 5 months straight until she snapped. Another fight, then she confessed. I was in the other room when she screamed about how she did everything to get mom away from him so she could have him all to herself, and now the new girlfriend is stealing him away. That's when I decided to call mom to tell her what happened. I was scared. The next day we agreed to meet a restaurant. I told dad about it afterwards and he insisted on coming with me. I wasn't sure at first, but he convinced me to let him come. He was desperate and even broke up with his girlfriend over the phone. So I brought him with. I didn't tell mom, and when she came and saw us, she was uncomfortable and left after dad was practically begging on his knees. I ended up calling her an asshole. I was stressed and overwhelmed. I blurted out something I didn't mean. I get why she left. There was no excuse for my behavior. I started spam calling her and texting her constantly, trying to get a response from her. Some messages weren't nice. I was not thinking properly. Dad was bawling and started saying some depressing thoughts about how he hated himself and that he wished he was dead. I panicked like, what am I supposed to do? The next morning Grandma came to the house while Mom was sending me long-ass paragraphs about wanting to have a relationship again, but needing boundaries. The two were arguing downstairs until Grandma admitted to fabricating the affair confession. She paid someone $500 to tell Dad his wife was cheating on her with him. So obviously, I texted Mom about it while Dad kicked her out, screaming that he never wanted to see her again and that it was all her fault. For the next day and a half or so, Mom and I communicated with each other. I apologized to her about my recent behavior. It was super uncalled for and I do really regret SSYING those things. At one point I gave my phone to Dad so the two can talk privately with each other. Mom wants to keep low contact, which I agreed to. Dad was upset that she wouldn't take him back. I learned Mom is seeing a therapist and went to see her earlier today. I haven't seen Grandma after Dad kicked her out. He has been saying she's been trying to call and text him like every hour. Yes, I'm still living with Dad. I'm in community college. It's only a half hour away so I stay home. I came across Mom's Reddit post on TikTok like 3 times. There are some comments about me that I'm really upset about. Do y'all not understand abuse victims like JFC? I had to put up with my dad's constant depressing behavior and my grandma's gaslighting. Love bombing Tadic. I'm happy to be in contact with my mom. I never contacted her before was because my grandma said negatives about her. I thought Mom was the controlling one. She wasn't, at all. I regret my choices and I'm willing to fix them and she is willing to give me a chance. You don't know our family. Stop acting like you do. Reminder, I'm not the oop. Daughter, my mom left a lot of stuff out. Proceeds to tell the exact same story. Wasn't this almost exact story on here just the other day? Only the bill convinced the wife that her husband was cheating to break them up. This post made me so sad. I think the mom handled things correctly, but it's sad that it happened at all. I've seen enough of these someone lied about cheating posts that I'm trying to figure out how you handle that situation? What would you do to figure out if the cheating is real or someone manipulating you? I'm dubious of these posts allegedly showing different sides of the situation. If any of this is true, I, in OOP's position, would harbor some resentment against the daughter. She was 16. It's suspicious that she just accepted her dad's version. I know daughter says at the end that she was a victim too. But I've known way too many people who bring out this line to try to avoid any personal responsibility. Oh, this is the one that everyone on that "my brother lied and stole my wife" was referencing. Yeah, the story beats hit pretty similar. Love that the daughter posted her side like that would change our opinion on them LMAO. There were a lot of things she neglected to say on her part. Proceeds to repeat exactly the same story. Nothing was neglected. The daughter's post made me shake my head. She tries to explain her side thinking it will make everyone sympathize with her and it just makes her look even worse. Giving her credit for trying to correct it now, but just because she has heard all these trendy psychological terms on TikTok doesn't make her blameless at all. She was 16 and she just dumped her mom on dad's word. She picked a side very clearly. That's what she did. To take a term from her post. JFC. Long ass paragraphs. I can't really relate with the daughter. The tone. The attitude. I mean, WTF. Did you really get what happened? Anyways, this story kinda feels a bit far-fetched to say the least. The update doesn't make the daughter look good, emo, it makes it way worse. Disgusted at the daughter's update, they did not bother to do their due diligence on such a big accusation, then trying to act like an victim after finding out. Dad is upset mom wouldn't take him back. Lol, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There were a lot of things she neglected to say on her part. Turns out there wasn't. Mom's story was perfectly coherent. I'm marginally sympathetic to the daughter for being a kid when this went down. But she wasn't a clueless child either. She was 16, not a baby, and she blatantly took her father's side. Made no efforts whatsoever to ever understand her mom. Even so, willing to be understanding on the 16-year-old being a dick. But the 20-year-old? The 21? How little empathy do you have to bring the person you yourself describe as contributing to your abuse to the meeting with the woman you say you wronged? The daughter comes across as entirely self-obsessed, and frankly I'm amazed with how much patience and forgiveness she's getting regardless. Hope Oop continues to recover and live a wonderful life. The husband, father frankly isn't worth wasting any words on. Man can step barefoot on Legos every day for the rest of his life. OP's ex and Mill are both garbage people, and daughter's post makes me think she got a dose of that garbage gene as well. Op is wise to stay low contact and move on with their life without garbage. The ex-husband immediately asking Oop to get back together is next level insanity. But also he's been in another relationship for about a year and drops that woman like a hot coal. And stumps up at the restaurant for the first time Oop has seen her daughter in years. All bygones. Bygones. I want you back. I also do not believe that at 17 the daughter couldn't figure out that her mother was couch surfing and wouldn't fight for custody. She literally couldn't accommodate. Oop asked for visitation because she had no home at the time. And daughter didn't want to see her anyway. The daughter's whole update does nothing to show that she, daughter, has grasped how severely her mother was wronged. The next morning grandma came to the house while mom was sending me long-ass paragraphs about wanting to have a relationship again, but needing boundaries. This is how she talks about her mom. Do y'all not understand abuse victims like JFC? I had to put up with my dad's constant depressing behavior and my grandma's gaslighting, love bombing tactic. This is how she defends herself. If she were blameless in this, she would have understood her mom's POV. Looks like she simply came here to say, fuck you all. It's not my fault. Quote. Is nobody at least a little bit sorry for the girlfriend? This really sucks for everyone in that family. But what it boils down to, husband had so little faith in his wife of 15 years that he would be even talk it out with her. And the daughter toddled along after father, continuing to choose his side even after the lies were exposed. The sheer damage caused by Mill is, wow. Honestly, I'm sorry Oop isn't suing her for defamation and alienation of affection. I get why, but it's too bad Mill won't get what should be coming to her. It really bothers me that the two people who were supposed to love Oop and support her gave up immediately, deserted her. Oop was essentially homeless for a long period, was depressed, was mentally unwell as a result of this situation. The daughter doesn't deserve a lot of the internet hate she was getting. She was 16 when this started. But she really should look at herself critically and ask why she didn't even question it. Also, her instincts are terrible. Even as a 10-yo love bomb behavior from relatives made me uneasy and suspicious, but I did grow up with a cat, and I may have learned to be suspicious from my tiny ball of fluffy murder. The husband deserves to be in the trash. His mom might have set up a compelling story. But he didn't even question it. Didn't think it though. Just said, yup. This woman I have a loving marriage of 15 years with cheated and divorced her. No way this is true. It's clearly the same person playing the part of mother and daughter. Honestly, I always wonder in posts like this where it's meant to be so obvious that the oop is the victim and everyone is manipulating everything around them. And their spouse and children believe blatant lies from the most untrustworthy sources. That if you believe it is real, whether oop was leaving anything out, and whether their partner already had doubts about their fidelity. The audacity of the daughter. After everything she did, blindsiding and abusing her mother more, the trying to pretend like she is the victim of abuse when she had the perfect family and life and turned on her mom like a rabid dog with almost no prompting.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.